I'd like to make a very simple suggestion. Moving forward, when you have discussions or debates about Israel and their war in Gaza, you refer to Gaza as Nazi Gaza. Just in conversation, even when you're looking at things in the news, when you're talking about it, oh, you mean Nazi Gaza? It's completely accurate, and it will help give you the moral clarity that may sometimes be missing. I'll tell you why, and I'll justify this first of all. Very simple. Hamas runs Gaza. Okay? Hamas have a modern day Nazi ideology. They want to wipe out the Jewish state. They want to wipe out the Jewish people in Israel and throughout the world. That's what they want. They are as evil in their tactics as the Nazis. In fact, the Nazis tried to hide their crimes. They film them on GoPros and upload them to Facebook Lives. So, in terms of who they are, the government, they are Nazi in their ideology. Now, the Nazis won 44% of the vote in 1933 German elections. And the Hamas October 7th massacre, according to a poll done just last month, shows that about 3 in every 4 Palestinian, both in Gaza and Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, support what Hamas did. So that means that when the West was fighting Nazi Germany, we also held some level of collective responsibility and complicity to the society. Doesn't mean there aren't individuals that we feel very much sympathy towards, and innocent children, for example, but the society as a whole, not just the government, we held somewhat complicit because they voted in Hitler. And so we should remember that when you've got nearly double the amount of support among the civilians for what Hamas did, and therefore there is some level of complicity among civilians as well. So this should help us when understanding 2 key points. The first point is we understood very clearly when we fought against the Germans in World War II. We didn't say we're against the Luftwaffe, we said we're against Nazi Germany, because there was a government, and yes, to some extent a society that was complicit as well. And we understood that. And so when you're in your discussions and in your moral framing, remember that this is a Nazi society that we're fighting that has seems to have even more support for the Nazi-esque ideology. And before you say, well, what do you expect? They're victims, you could say the exact same thing to the Germans after World War I, their defeat in the Treaty of Versailles and all the sanctions that they had to deal with and the reparations. You could say the same to Jews. After Jews were freed from the camps in Nazi Europe, they could have gone round raping German women, beheading baby civilians. Don't fall to the bigotry of low expectations. And quite frankly, there's no comparison anyway with Palestinians, because they've been offered a state time and time again. This is a self-inflicted punishment that they've been experiencing, that their leaders have chosen, and frankly their society seems to have endorsed, because they could be a peace movement rebelling against the Palestinian leaders. So that's the first important way that it's important to frame this. And the second one is when thinking about, well, maybe Israel can negotiate, maybe they can finally come to a peaceful settlement. Sometimes you cannot have a meeting of the minds. Sometimes there has to be do or die. One side wins, the other side loses. That's how we approach Nazi Germany. This idea of, come on, Israel, just put your heads together, knock your heads together with the other side, and you'll find a way to make peace. No, sometimes that can't happen. People find this hard to understand because they just don't think people can be that evil. You really want to just get rid of the Jews? It's that outrageous? Yes, it is. And people who are hardline, who say we have to be victorious against this, and we can no longer try and extend our hand in peace because it's not going to work, because these people just want us dead. People who are then told, well, you're just being hardline, you're being ideological. No. It's actually those who want to see a two-state solution or a meeting of the minds or some kind of negotiation with the other side, which has shown itself, not just with Hamas, but throughout Israel's history, to be a side that's just invented to try and destroy the Jewish people and the Jewish state. It's not about genuine, authentic nationalism. And therefore, those who keep singing the same old tunes about meeting of the minds and cooperation, they are the ones who are guilty of putting ideology above looking at reality as it is, rather than as they wish it to be. So therefore, that's what I suggest. It gives you the moral clarity, and it's a perfectly fair description of who Israel is up against. Israel is fighting Nazi Gaza, and we know how that has to be dealt with. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to watch another one, click here. If you want to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest JTV content, click here. And if you're feeling really keen, you can click the join button down below underneath this video, where you can get perks including early access to new videos and private live discussions with me, where we can talk about JTV content and strategy moving forward, and I'll get to hear from you. Thanks again for watching.